Greetings to all. Welcome back to online classes. Today we are going to see lesson 8 Nationalism Gandhian phase part 2. Second part of the lesson 8 Nationalism Gandhian phase. First of all, no tax campaign and Chauri Chaura incident. No tax campaign and Chauri Chaura incident. In February 1922, Gandhiji announced a no tax campaign in Bardoli. Okay, no tax campaign in Bardoli. This movement enhanced Gandhiji's reputation as a national leader. Okay, Gandhiji's reputation as a national leader, particularly the peasants. Okay, particularly the peasants. Gandhiji made a nationwide tour. Gandhiji made a nationwide tour. Wherever he visited, foreign clothes were collected and banned. Thousands of people left government jobs. Students gave up their studies. Lawyers left their thriving practices. British goods and institutions were boycotted. The boycott of a Prince of Wales visit to India was successful. Okay, the boycott of Prince of Wales visit to India was successful. On 5th February 1922, a nationalist procession was held in Chauri Chaura. Okay, on 5th February 1922, a nationalist procession was held in Chauri Chaura. Chauri Chaura is a village near Gorakhpur. Okay, Gorakhpur. Gorakhpur is located in present-day Uttar Pradesh. The police turned this Chauri Chaura procession as a violence. Okay, there were less number of police, so they shut themselves inside the police station. Okay, shut themselves inside the police station. The mob. Okay, the mob burned the police station. 22 policemen lost their lives. Gandhiji withdraw the movement immediately. Okay, Gandhiji withdraw the movement immediately. Next we will say Swarajis. The Congress was divided into two groups. First group was pro changes. Second group was no changes. So pro changes means those who liked changes. No changes means the people those don't want any change. So two groups. First group was pro changes and second group was no changes. Under the leadership of Motilal Nehru and C.R. Das, Chittaranjan Das, the Congress wanted to contest the elections and enter the legislature. Okay, the Congress wanted to contest the elections and enter the legislature. They argued that the national interest could be promoted by working in the legislative councils. Again, they argued that only by participating in diarchy they can erect the colonial government. Okay, colonial government. Diarchy means double government or dual government. Okay, double government or dual government. They were called pro changes. Okay, so only by participating in diarchy they can erect the colonial government. They were called pro changes. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, C. Rajaji and others, particularly the followers of Gandhiji, were known as no changes. These no changes wanted to continue non-cooperation with the government. Despite the opposition, on 1st January 1923, Chittaranjan Das and Motilal Nehru formed Swaraj Party. It was approved by a special session of a Congress later. Okay, it was approved by a special session of the Congress later. Swaraj Party members were elected to the Imperial Legislative Assembly, and various provincial legislative councils. Okay, Swaraj Party members were elected to the Imperial Legislative Assembly and various provincial legislative councils. They used the legislature as a platform for the propagation of nationalist ideas. In Bengal, they did not want to cooperate with the government, so they refused to take charge of the transport subjects. Okay, refused to take the charge of the transferred subjects. They exposed the true nature of a colonial government. Chittaranjan Das died in 1925. The Swarajya Party also began to decline after the death of Chittaranjan Das. Next, constructive program of Gandhiji. Constructive program of Gandhiji. After the Chauri Chaura incident, Gandhiji felt that the volunteers and people had to be trained for a non-violent struggle. Felt that the volunteers and people had to be trained for a non-violent struggle. As a part of this, he focused on promoting Khadi, Hindu-Muslim unity, and the abolition of untouchability. Promoting Khadi, Hindu-Muslim unity, and the abolition of untouchability. He advised the congressman that go throughout your districts and spread the message of Qadar. And the message of Hindu-Muslim unity, the message of anti-untouchability. Take up the youth of your country in hand. Take up the youth of the country in hand. Make them the real soldiers of Swaraj. Make them the real soldiers of Swaraj. He made it compulsory for all Congress members to wear Qadar. He made it compulsory for all the Congress members to wear Qadar. The All India Spinners Association was formed. All India Spinners Association was formed. Next, boycott of Simon Commission. Boycott of Simon Commission. On November 8, 1927, the British government announced the appointment of the Indian Statutory Commission. Indian Statutory Commission. November 8, 1927. This commission had 7 members. This commission was headed by Sir John Simon. It is called as a Simon Commission. All the members of this commission were Englishmen. It did not have any Indian member. It did not have any Indian member. The Indians were anchored because they had no right to decide their own constitution. It was an insult to the Indians. All sections of India, including the Congress and the Muslim League, decided to boycott the commission, decided to boycott the Simon Commission. There were widespread protests all over the country. Black flag marches were there with the slogan, "Go back Simon." Black flag marches were there with the slogan, "Go back Simon." The protesters were brutally punished by the police. Lala Lajpati Rai, the Lion of Punjab, who was the leader of the demonstration against the Simon Commission at Lahore, was seriously injured and died a few days later. Lala Lajpati Rai, the Lion of Punjab, who was the leader of the demonstration against the Simon Commission at Lahore, was seriously injured and died a few days later. Next, we will see Nehru Report. Nehru Report. The Simon boycott united the different political parties in India. The Simon boycott united the different political parties in India. An all-party conference was held in 1928. All-party conference was held in 1928. Its objective was to frame a constitution for India. A committee was formed under the leadership of Motilal Nehru to outline the principles. On the basis of which the constitution was to be drafted. The committee's report was known as Nehru Report. The committee's report was known as Nehru Report. Now, recommendations of Nehru Report. Dominion status for India. That is self-rule. Dominion status means self-rule for India. Elections of the central legislature and the provincial legislatures should be on the basis of joint and mixed electorates. Elections of the central legislature and the provincial legislatures should be on the basis of joint and mixed electorates. reservation of seats for Muslims in the central legislature and in provinces where they are in minority. Okay, reservation of seats for Muslims in the central legislature and in provinces where where they are in minority, like that for the Hindus in northwest frontier province, where they were in minority. Universal adult franchise, the franchise means voting right, universal adult franchise and provision of fundamental rights, Muhammad Ali Jinnah proposed an amendment to the reservation of seats in the central legislature. Okay, he demanded that 1/3 of the seats should be reserved for Muslims. 1/3 of the seats should be reserved for Muslims. Tej Bahadur Sapro supported Jinnah and he pleaded that it won't make big difference. Okay, it won't make a big difference. However, it was defeated in the all-party conference. Later, he proposed a resolution that is known as Jinnah's 14 points. It was also rejected. Jinnah was hailed as an ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity. But he worked hard for the separate nation for Muslims. Next, we will see struggle for Purna Swaraj and launch of civil disobedience movement. Okay, struggle for Purna Swaraj and launch of civil disobedience movement. Some of the congressmen were not satisfied with the Dominion status. They wanted to demand complete independence. In December 1929, the Congress session held in Lahore. Jawaharlal Nehru was the president of the Lahore session. Purna Swaraj, or complete independence, was declared as the goal. Okay, so in December 1929, Congress session held in Lahore. Jawaharlal Nehru was the president of the Lahore session. Purna Swaraj was declared as their goal. It was also decided to boycott the Round Table Conference and start a civil disobedience movement. 26th January 1930 was declared as Independence Day. A pledge was taken all over the country to get complete independence non-violently and through civil disobedience, including non-payment of taxes. Okay, non-payment of taxes. The Indian National Congress authorized Gandhi to launch the movement. Indian National Congress authorized, that means to give official permission to Gandhi to launch the movement. Salt Satyagraha movement. Okay, next one, Salt Satyagraha movement. A charter of demand was presented to the Viceroy Lord Irwin. Okay, a charter of demands was presented to the Viceroy Lord Irwin. The demands are the following. First one, reduction of expenditure on army and civil services by 50%. Okay, reduction of expenditure on army and civil services by 50%. Second one, introduction of a total prohibition of liquor. Release of all political prisoners. Next, reduction of land revenue by 50%. Abolition of a salt tax. Okay, these are the demands. The Viceroy Irwin did not respond to the charter of demands, so Gandhiji launched the civil disobedience movement. Okay, Gandhiji launched the civil disobedience movement. The inclusion of abolition of salt tax was a brilliant decision. Abolition of salt tax. On 12th March 1930, Gandhiji and 78 chosen followers, including Sarojini Naidu, left Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad to Dandi, a village on the Gujarat sea coast, to break the salt laws. Okay, on 12th March 1930, Gandhiji and 78 chosen followers, including Sarojini Naidu, left Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad to Dandi, a village on the Gujarat Gujarat sea coast to break the salt laws. The procession became larger and larger when hundreds joined them along the march. Okay, at the age of 61, Gandhiji covered a distance of 241 miles in 24 days at sunset on 5th April 1930. This march is popularly known as Dandi March. Okay, this march is popularly known as Dandi March. The slogan Vande Mataram echoed everywhere. Okay, the slogan Vande Mataram echoed everywhere. The next morning, Gandhiji took a lump of salt, breaking the salt law. The next heading, Salt Satyagraha in provinces. In Tamil Nadu, Rajagopalachari organized a march from Trichy to Vedaranyam to break the salt laws. Salt marches took place in Kerala, Andhra Pradesh and Bengal. In Northeast Frontier Province, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan led the movement. Okay. Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan organized Kudai Kit Matkar. It is also known as Red Shirt. Okay, Red Shirt. It is one movement only. Okay, government crushed the movement with brutal force. Gandhiji was arrested at midnight and sent to Yerwada jail. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan and other leaders were arrested. Okay, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan and other leaders were arrested. So, other forms of protests occurred. Boycott of foreign clothes, picketing of liquor shops, non-payment of taxes, breaking of forest laws, etc. were adopted. Women, peasants, tribals, students, even children and all sections participated in the nationwide struggle. It was the biggest mass movement in India. Next we will see roundtable conferences. The first roundtable conference was held at London in November 1930. The British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald proposed a federal government. The Congress did not attend this first roundtable conference because its leaders were in jail. The conference closed without any decision. Next, Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Lord Irwin held talks with Gandhi. As a result, Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed on 5th March 1931. The British agreed to the demand of immediate release of all political prisoners not involved in violence. Immediate release of all political prisoners not involved in violence. And return of confiscated land and lenient treatment of government employees. Lenient treatment of government employees who had resigned. It also permitted the people of the coastal villages to prepare salt for consumption. The Congress agreed to suspend the civil disobedience movement and attend the conference. Gandhiji attended the second roundtable conference began on 7th September 1931. Gandhiji refused to accept separate electorates for minorities. As a result, the second roundtable conference ended without any result. Next, renewal of civil disobedience movement. On returning to India, Gandhiji revived the civil disobedience movement. The government was prepared to meet the resistance. Next one. Martial law was enforced and Gandhiji was arrested on 4th January 1932 1932. Soon all the Congress leaders were arrested. On third roundtable conference, that is the third roundtable conference was held from 17th November to 24th December 1932. The third roundtable conference was held from 17th November to 24th December 1932. The Congress did not participate in the conference because it had revived the civil disobedience movement. Next we will see Communal Award and Pune Pact. Communal Award and Pune Pact. On 16th August 1932, Ramsay MacDonald announced the Communal Award. Announced the Communal Award. It provided separate electorates to the Muslims, Sikhs, Indian Christians, Anglo-Indians, and women and the depressed classes. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the leader of the depressed classes. The leader of the depressed classes, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, strongly argued for separate electorate. On 20th September 1932, Gandhiji went on a fast unto death. Against the separate electorates for the depressed classes. Madan Mohan Malaviya, Dr. Rajendra Prasad and others held talks with Ambedkar and M.C. Raja, the leaders of the depressed classes. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and M.C. Raja, the leaders of the depressed classes. After intense negotiations, an agreement was made between Gandhi and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar that is known as Pune Pact. An agreement was made between Gandhi and Ambedkar that is known as Pune Pact. Its main objectives or terms are the principle of separate electorates was abandoned. Principle of separate electorate was abandoned. The principle of joint electorate was accepted. Reserved seats for the depressed classes were increased. From 71 to 148. In the central legislature, 18% of the seats were reserved. Next, campaign against untouchability. Gandhiji devoted the next few years to abolish untouchability. His meeting with Dr. B.R. Ambedkar made a big impact on his ideas about the caste system. He shifted his base to the Satyagraha ashram at Wardha. Gandhiji undertook an all-India tour called the Harijan Tour. He started the Harijan Sevak Sangh. To work for the removal of discriminations. He worked to promote education, cleanliness and hygiene. And giving up of liquor among the depressed class. An important part of the campaign was the temple entry movement. 8th January 1933 was observed as Temple Entry Day. 8th January 1933 was observed as Temple Entry Day. Children, with this I finish today's session and I will meet you in the next session with the next part, that is part 3, and the heading is Beginning of Socialist Movements. Bye children, thank you.